Hi guys, I'm going to go ahead and do another quick ETF video. Today we're going to do ticker symbol QQQ. So QQQ is actually pretty similar to Vanguard's VGT. In fact, I believe QQQ is actually probably more popular than VGT is. Um, they are pretty similar. QQQ is a tech ETF. Um, there's a couple, so there's similarities, but there's a couple differences as well, which we'll kind of go over as we kind of go through all this stuff. Um, one thing I did notice when I compared the two is VGT is 100% tech as far as the type of all the companies that comprise the company stocks that comprise the ETF, whereas QQQ is 50% tech and the remainder is kind of scattered. I think the second most in QQQ is like 15% makeup is consumer discretionary, but 50% of it is tech. And it is probably more well known to most people than VGT. But let's get started. Expense ratio. So one difference is expense ratio is a little bit more. It is I believe it's 0.2%. So a little bit more than VGT, not by much. It's negligible, and even 0.2 of 1%. You know, uh, Still cheaper than a cheap mutual fund. Um, Even a cheap mutual fund is going to be like probably between zero point 0.3 to 0.6 1% expense ratio, so it's still pretty cheap. Dividend, I believe it's like 0.5%, so less than 1%, so not much of a dividend. But as with most, growth stocks, growth companies, growth ETFs, the dividend is either going to be low or, some tech stocks actually have zero dividend. Uh, what is the 10-year return? I believe it's about 18%. So the annual return over about 10 years is about 18%. So it's a little bit less than VGT, which I believe is about 21%, but it's pretty comparable. And again, who knows? Past performance is no guarantee of future performance. Index, it's mostly tech. It's considered tech ETF. And then I believe it's 99% domestic companies. So it's a domestic stock, or sorry, domestic ETF. Holdings, I believe the holdings are about, I believe it's about 108 companies, 108 stocks that comprise QQQ. So about 100 different stocks in QQQ. Again, number wise, diversified, it's more than 20 to 30. But again, uh, technically, as far as diversification, not really diversified because there's sector risk. Um, well, actually, let's think about it. there is still sector risk because 50% of the companies that make up QQQ is tech. It is a little bit more diversified if we compare this. It's all relative. If we compare QQQ to VGT, QQQ is actually more diversified because VGT is 100% tech companies, whereas QQQ is 50% tech companies. So technically, it is a little bit more diversified. So I guess technically, a little bit of diversification, just because it's technically 50% of its holdings are tech. Market cap is going to be, sorry, it's going to be large cap. Technically, if you want to get technical, it's mega cap, but it's going to be classified as large cap growth, which most tech companies are probably going to lean towards large cap growth. So again, not financial advice, so do your own research before you put down any money to purchase any of these ETFs or stocks. I personally do not own QQQ. I also do not own any VGT either, but the reason is I actually hold quite a bit of tech stocks, so single stocks in tech companies. So, there's no reason to hold tech. In my opinion, there's no reason to hold tech stocks and tech ETFs. I think it kind of defeats the whole purpose. You're probably going to get more volatility and more risk with individual tech stocks, but your return could possibly be higher as well. So there's a trade-off. Definitely, I think doing the tech ETFs is much safer than doing single stocks. But I just do it for fun. So I would not recommend doing single stocks. If you're risk adverse, I just do it for fun. So any type of single stock, you need to make sure that you're willing to lose any money you're investing in the single stock, even though it's, if you do your research and pick, conservative stocks, it's unlikely you're going to lose 100% of the money put in, but it's much, in my opinion, it's much riskier doing single stocks than ETFs. Sorry, getting off on a tangent here. Quick review, ticker symbol QQQ. Expense ratio is 0.2 of 1%. Dividend is very minute, 0.5%, 0.5%. 10-year return is about 18%, not too bad, pretty good actually. A little bit less than VGT if we compare. Index, it is a tech ETF. It is domestic. 99% domestic companies make up QQQ. Holdings is about 100 different stocks in QQQ, and it is large cap growth. All right, so I did QQQ just because I noticed there seems to be a lot more interest in tech ETFs or tech stocks than there was in kind of the other sectors that I've done so far. So I'll try to do a little bit more tech stuff and see if people are a little bit more interested. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.